Syrian army one step closer to lay siege on terrorists in Eastern Deir Ezzur, Tehran FNA. The Syrian army units have launched simultaneous operations in two different flanks to complete the siege on ISIL terrorists in Eastern Deir Ezzur, a field source reported on Wednesday. The source said that the army men are attacking ISIL's positions in two flanks from the southern direction of the town of alMayadeen towards the town of Albu Kamal and from Albu Kamal towards alMayadeen to pave the ground for laying siege on the terrorists in Eastern Deir Ezzur. The army men stormed ISIL's position near the two small towns of Ashaya and Al-Kabra north of Albu Kamal, capturing several positions, the source said, adding that the army soldiers will have only 20 kilometers to the positions of the pro-government forces that are en route towards Albu Kamal from alMayadeen if they capture Ashaya and Al-Kabra completely. If the army men capture this 20-kilometer-long chunk, the siege on ISIL will be completed in Eastern Deir Ezzur. Relevant reports said on Tuesday that the army troops were about to lay a siege on the ISIL terrorists in Eastern Deir Ezzur after imposing control over the town of Albu Kamal, the last main bastion of the terrorists in eastern Syria. A military source said that the ISIL was only in control of two regions on the western and eastern banks of the Euphrates River after the army forces' strategic advances in Eastern Deir Ezzur and liberation of the town of Albu Kamal. The source went on to say that ISIL was in control of a region as large as 7,500 sq.km from the northwest of Badia Desert Albu Kamal to the southeast of Al-Sukna in eastern Homs, adding that another region covering 6,500 sq.km of area from the north of Albu Kamal to the south of Murkada in Hasaka province and between the Iraqi border and the Kurdish-held Thawar region was under the control of the ISIL terrorists. Source further said that the closure of the 25 km long gap between the north of Albu Kamal and south of the town of alMayadeen by the army soldiers drove a wedge between the western and eastern banks of the Euphrates River, and left the terrorists with the only two options of death or surrender.